Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Rafael from Técnica Antica once again, wearing a t-shirt. Yep, I thought maybe it would look more presentable, but man, it's warm here. I'm gonna start sweating in a minute. Title of this video: Leave your jaw alone, or don't be a crocodile, or just honestly, don't mess up with your jaw. Okay, so this is the deal. Lately, I've been having some students that they come to me and all of a sudden they just open their mouths way too wide or just way too far. And I suppose this works for some people, but most of the time it doesn't work for many. And I remember back in the day, even before I I started with James McRae. There were some people back in London that told me concepts very similar to this. Okay, so I would face back in the day this moment in which I would basically over open my mouth, trying to search for space, search for resonance. You have a whole hour of that stuff in the last video. And what I was actually doing was spreading my voice and thus screaming, yelling my heart out. But since I was young and foolish, right, like the song, I could get away with it. I do not think I could get away with it nowadays. So I remember a particular teacher, coach. I don't even remember her name. That told me something that somehow stuck to my brain, and that was open your mouth basically from the inside and not from the outside. Imagine that you're sort of a snake. And I honestly until recently I never really paid much attention to that, and then I faced a couple of students, maybe 3, that there was something off. There was something going on that distorted the whole spectrum. And we figured out that actually the jaw was moving too much. Now, I remember back in the day, all these people, teachers, all of a sudden dealing with clenched jaws and, making you put like 2 fingers and vocalize with 2 fingers in your mouth. God, very, very difficult or very uncomfortable, I would say. Okay, so what happens when we over open or over widen or spread the jaw? Well, you get out of the format and your larynx does not move or basculate properly. If we take a glottal stroke and we start, I don't know, low, right? So we are on low for a tenor. That would be C3, right? And we go Okay, so that sets up everything. And all of a sudden I over open my mouth looking for space because I'm low and I'm a tenor, and I just, I'm thinking, oh, I need more space to resonate, and then thus my voice will be bigger. And I go, Eventually, this is gonna cost you, because if I just keep a natural sort of ba 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 ba, as I said, I tell some of my students, just go ba 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 ba, and then okay, so that's D, and that's C3, C2. Okay, no big deal. If I spread open my jaw, that disappears because my larynx is gonna lose function there. Okay, remember last video I talked about how to set things up, and this is actually Garcia's idea about le coup de glotte. Okay, le coup de la glotte, the glottal strike. So as we go higher, our tendency is SOS, I need to open. And then, hey, you know, there were some teachers that, I don't know if you remember that master class from 1990. Okay. Okay. As you ascend, your mind is going to tell you SOS, help, Mayday. And you're going to start opening your mouth, your jaw, and obviously spreading the sound. That's the difference. For example, if we go this way and we just open and splatter, la, ah, I don't think that's a very pleasant sound. La, ah, I believe that to be more in the format. Then obviously you can open inside that format, but if you go already too far, you're kind of doomed. So if we take that vocal stroke and we go around, I don't know, middle C, right? So I'm doing it on purpose to go like as if I wanted to go higher than the pitch. So that's the, okay, let's try and that's the now let's take that glottal stroke up. So we were doing like low C, right? C 3, right? And then let's go an octave higher. My mouth. My larynx is working. And then all of a sudden, let's go through that famous passaggio. If I all of a sudden start, I'm thinking that I'm going higher, and then I need more space, and then I'm gonna, that's a dangerous sound. Either it's gonna cause me fatigue, or it's gonna make me crack like a duck. I'm spreading the voice, and we need to go vertical inside up to basically, if you're a tenor, up to B flat. So if I take this G, down, 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 and then I start ascending. So basically, my bottom teeth are showing also because of the angle of the camera, but if not, I don't think it would be showing. So that's B flat. And say, oh, just it's a vocal stroke. What do I do to hold it, to maintain it? No big deal. You just keep it alive. Now, as I said, if you overextend your jaw, you're gonna get out of the format. You're gonna get out of that coordination, the larynx, with all those systems we talked about in the last video. Now, something funny happens to some old dogs like me when you want to go beyond that B flat. And actually, McRae used to tell me this. He used to tell me on B natural, the whole harmonics spectrum, they change. Honestly, I never really paid much attention to that. Nowadays, obviously, because of the teaching, trying to find tools for everybody, then I realized, okay, so something happens around that area. I wouldn't call it passaggio. Why? Because you can sing it, in a way or another. So I have young tenors that they go vertical to a B natural or to a C full voice, and they're very vertical. And for us old dogs, maybe is not so. So what do we have to do? What McRae used to tell me is that we need to open inside the cover. How are you gonna do that? Well, if you're not being natural and you run out of runway with basically this verticality. By the way, the vowels are made in the pharynx, and then the shape gets reproduced in the mouth without distorting too much. Well, it looks like that I am on this B flat, and I need to open horizontally inside that. So there is a bit of an and McRae used to tell us, you go so, and that's your B natural right there. If you see, my mouth has not open wide, or make it hasn't made a very funky shape. If I want to go to my high C and I'm gonna set it with a stroke, again, I think of it and that's basically it. It's very close to that cracking in a way, because you're daring to not over widen your mouth. Yeah, so I wouldn't say that it's easy to go on a stroke further than, I would say, B natural, but you can. Okay, C, and they would be this would be D flat or C sharp, depending how high you want it to be. Yeah. And that's not a falsetto or anything like that. That would be falsetto, that's full voice. So what happens? Well, what happens is that my spectrum is just a very good example of this. I most of my students, they work on this area, is Addio fiorito asil from Madama Butterfly. When you go Addio fiorito asil, and then you go Di letizia ed amor, so that jump from C to A flat, l'amor, it's not a big deal. And actually, once you get there, at the very end of the aria, you need to go to that B flat. Again, what would be the mistake? To look for space, look for resonances, look for whatever you want to call it. And it's the same jump, and then from that note, just go into the higher note, but thinking that it's just an extension of the previous note. So, non reggo al tuo squalor. Tuo squalor! Now, that originally, originally is cut, and you gotta attack that from scratch, which for some people might be a bit challenging. Thus, many people use the portamenti, right, to go there. So to illustrate that it's only an extension of that position. Once you gain that position, the rest is just flowers. So so if we take that non reggo al tuo squalor, so it's that position, it's the same position. And then you go back to that A flat, and then you have to re-attack that A flat. Sonneville. Bingo. And you don't have to worry about anything else. If you start messing around with, searching for space, searching for this sort of resonance, whatever it is, chances are you're gonna miss it. A very good exercise that I use to illustrate this, as well as this aria, is that crazy exercise I explained in a video a long time ago that some crazy German guy taught me back in the day, but applying this principle. So let's say I start on a C, a middle C, yeah? So it's a C4, and you go la, la. Okay, and that's all like, it's middle high range. But what happens when I go to that F, that famous passaggio, and all that? La, la, pum, pum, and I'm going to my G. My jaw didn't open, and this just stayed put. So I attack that. I don't like the word attack, but yeah, I sing that first note, and then this is an extension. La, la. Okay, and that's low G. So my mouth does not over open. What would happen if I start that exercise on an A, and I have to go to that B natural? Well, I adopt that position already. That A. La, That's not streaming. Okay, I'm just gonna check this out and see if I can publish it. If it hasn't been helpful, just don't watch it. And if you liked it, like and subscribe. If you need any help, you know where I am. Bye!